Weather forecast full overview. Good day, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to our weather forecast news bulletin. In these early days of September, the climate picture across the United States, the Pacific, the Atlantic, and surrounding regions has become increasingly complex. We are witnessing, all at once, the emergence of severe thunderstorms on land, heavy rains bringing the risk of flooding, the arrival of an unusually strong early autumn cold air mass, and, most notably, the vigorous activity of tropical cyclones offshore. In today's extended broadcast, we will bring you a comprehensive outlook, with in-depth analysis of each phenomenon, so that you can both stay informed and be well prepared in daily life and production. Let's begin with the eastern United States. Today, a band of thunderstorms is developing, stretching from eastern Tennessee through West Virginia, Pennsylvania, New York, and even into southern Canada, including major cities such as Toronto and Ottawa. This risk zone has been rated only as marginal, yet in reality, millions of people are within the affected area. These storms are expected to bring lightning, small hail, and gusty winds reaching Beaufort force 6 to 7, strong enough to break tree branches and disrupt local power supplies. The positive news is that forecasters believe the chance of severe, destructive supercells is relatively low. In other words, widespread dangerous conditions are unlikely, though localized impacts such as fallen trees, damaged rooftops, or temporary transport disruptions remain possible. A more serious concern lies with the potential for repeated rainfall over eastern Kentucky, southwestern West Virginia, and neighboring regions. Convective clouds are showing a tendency to stall in place, a phenomenon meteorologists call training storms. This means new downpours repeatedly pass over the same locations, raising the threat of flash flooding and landslides. Observations this morning show rainfall totals of 25 to 30 millimeters in just a few hours in parts of Kentucky. Should additional storm cells erupt later today and tonight, the risk of flash floods in small valleys and stream basins will become significant. Residents living near hillsides, creeks, or narrow valleys should remain especially alert. As these storms move northeastward, they are expected to weaken somewhat over the coastal corridor. Yet, with the dense populations of cities such as Philadelphia, New York City, and Boston, even minor disruptions to electricity or transportation could trigger chain reactions. Experts therefore urge residents to keep updated via trusted forecast channels, activate emergency alerts on mobile phones, and pay close attention to NOAA weather radio advisories. Looking ahead, the incoming cold air mass will not retreat quickly. It is expected to generate additional rounds of storms tomorrow, Friday, September 5th. The risk area will shift south and southwest, encompassing major cities such as Dallas, Texas, Little Rock, Arkansas, Memphis, Tennessee, Nashville, and Clarksville. In Dallas and Little Rock, thunderstorms with strong winds are likely, while Tennessee cities may face another risk, weak tornadoes. The U.S. Storm Prediction Center has placed a 2% probability for tornado formation in this zone. Though this number may sound small, in meteorology it is quite significant, implying that across millions of square kilometers, a few tornadoes are possible. Any twisters that do form will likely be EF0, EF1, but still capable of tearing off weak roofs, toppling power lines, and causing accidents on the roads. Residents in these states are urged to monitor warnings closely and have a shelter plan ready. Moving into the weekend, Saturday and Sunday, September 6–7, as cold air plunges further south and collides with Gulf moisture. Another thunderstorm belt is expected to develop along the East Coast. This line of storms will target the nation's most populated corridor, the I-95, with cities including Washington, D.C., Baltimore, Greensboro, North Carolina, and nearby areas at risk. Early forecasts suggest mainly isolated, severe threats, but heavy thunderstorms could still disrupt travel, especially during busy weekend hours. Hazards may include gusty winds, small hail, frequent lightning, and a few isolated tornadoes. What makes this cold outbreak remarkable is its timing and persistence. Meteorologists note that public interest in this September chill is unusually high, in some cases exceeding attention to Category 5 hurricanes. The reason is simple: it arrives unexpectedly at the very start of autumn. And it is set to linger from now through the next 6 to 10 days. Mid-Atlantic and Northeast states, particularly along the I-95 corridor, are forecast to remain below average in temperature. A stretch of cool, crisp days will bring a sense of autumn much earlier than usual. Yet, the weather's inconsistency will continue. By mid-September, forecasts suggest a reversal. The central U.S. will heat up dramatically, with temperatures near 100 degrees Fahrenheit, around 37 degrees Celsius, in Nebraska by September 13th. While the West cools down as upper-level patterns shift. This means Americans could swing from chilly early autumn straight back to scorching late summer in just 2 weeks. Meanwhile, the tropics are surging with activity. In the Pacific, Hurricane Kiko is currently the strongest storm, with sustained winds of 144 miles per hour, 230 kilometers per hour, a Category 4 on the Saffir-Simpson scale. It is heading toward Hawaii, and while expected to weaken over cooler waters in 5 to 7 days, Kiko could still bring heavy rain, high surf, and flooding risks. Hawaiian authorities have begun issuing preparation guidelines, from stocking supplies to reviewing shelter and evacuation plans. Not far away, near the Baja California Peninsula, Hurricane Lorena, a Category 1 with 75 miles per hour, 120 km per hour winds, is approaching the Mexican coast. Lorena is forecast to weaken quickly upon landfall, yet its indirect effects are substantial. Moisture from Lorena is already streaming into the U.S. Southwest, particularly Arizona, New Mexico, Southern California, and western Texas. The likely outcome: intense downpours, flash flood risk in desert terrain, and scenes of Arizona streets turning into rivers or New Mexico deserts suddenly inundated with water. Finally, in the Atlantic, the spotlight falls on a tropical wave newly added to the U.S. National Hurricane Center's watch list. This disturbance currently has a 50% chance of becoming a tropical depression within 48 hours and up to an 80% chance over the next week. If it strengthens, the system will be named Gabrielle, the next storm of the 2025 season. Unlike Hurricane Erin, which tracked north, forecast models suggest Gabrielle may take a more southerly path, potentially putting the Lesser Antilles, Puerto Rico, the Virgin Islands, and even Haiti at risk. It is far too early to say whether Gabrielle will threaten the Bahamas or the U.S. Southeast. But the potential danger cannot be ignored. Ladies and gentlemen, all of this underscores that we are now at the peak of hurricane season, and also in the midst of seasonal transition across North America. The collision of weather systems makes the coming days particularly unpredictable. Thunderstorms inland, sudden cold waves, and tropical cyclones offshore, all unfolding at once. The key is preparation, staying updated, planning ahead, and prioritizing safety for yourself and your family. Thank you for joining us in today's weather forecast news bulletin. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and enable notifications to receive our latest updates. We wish you safety, peace, and look forward to seeing you again in our next broadcast.